Have you ever been around someone who seems kind, courteous, and well-spoken, yet you feel a subtle tension every time they talk? It's like your instincts are quietly sounding an alarm, even as your mind tries to stay civil. They smile. They say all the right things, and still, something feels off. That feeling isn't paranoia. It's perception. Your unconscious is catching signals, tiny, almost invisible clues, that the energy they give off doesn't match the surface they show. Carl Jung, one of the deepest thinkers in psychology, had a word for this kind of discomfort: the shadow. It's the hidden part of the psyche we deny, bury, or refuse to face, even within ourselves. But the shadow doesn't stay silent. It seeps out through tone, posture, hesitation, and expression. When someone carries resentment, jealousy, or suppressed hostility, they won't always say it aloud, but it shows up in subtle ways. In today's video, we'll look at 8 clear signs that someone in your life may not be as supportive as they pretend to be. Signs that their shadow might be aimed at you, quietly, but with intention. And I'll say this now, sign number 8 may completely change how you see someone you thought you trusted. Let's begin. Sign number 1, contempt disguised as humor. Sometimes, people don't attack you directly. They do it with a smile. They wrap their hostility in a joke. Sarcasm becomes a shield they hide behind. They laugh at your ideas, your emotions, your choices, especially the ones they know matter to you. And if you call them out, they respond with, "Come on, I was just joking." Don't be so sensitive. You really can't take a joke, can you? That's not humor. That's a power move. And over time, it erodes your self-confidence. Jung believed that people project the parts of themselves they can't accept onto others. So when someone mocks your ambition, your quirks, or your values, they may be revealing something they deeply dislike within themselves. Ask yourself, how often do their jokes hit a nerve? How often do you feel smaller after laughing with them? Because real humor uplifts, this kind drains you. Sign number 2, hidden sabotage. Some people don't push you down, they just don't let you rise. When someone close to you secretly feels threatened by your growth, they may start to interfere in subtle ways. Maybe they forget to pass on crucial information. Maybe their advice leads you in the wrong direction. Maybe they complicate plans at the worst possible moment, and then act surprised when things fall apart. Sabotage doesn't always look like betrayal. Sometimes it looks like helpfulness, just slightly off. And if this happens repeatedly, especially during moments that matter, it's not coincidence. It's a pattern. Jung said that when people can't face their own failures, they externalize the discomfort. They don't want to see others succeed where they feel stuck. So they interrupt your path, not out of hate, but out of fear. Pause and reflect. Has someone close to you consistently disrupted your momentum, even when they claim to support you? Sometimes the shadow doesn't scream. It just quietly rearranges your path, so you never reach the top. Sign number 3, the silent rivalry. Not everyone can be happy for you, especially if your success highlights their stagnation. Some people turn every win of yours into a trigger for quiet competition. You get a promotion, they suddenly talk about a raise. You start a new relationship, they bring up a more serious one. Every time you share something meaningful, they redirect the conversation to themselves, always, subtly, seamlessly. It's not a celebration, it's a comparison. What they're doing isn't conversation, it's scorekeeping. This isn't always conscious. Jung wrote that shadow projection often leads people to despise in others what they lack in themselves. So if they feel stuck, your progress becomes painful to witness and unbearable to applaud. Here's the test. After talking to them, do you feel celebrated or measured? Do you feel lifted or silently outperformed? Because someone who truly supports you doesn't try to one-up you. They clap when you win, and they mean it. Sign number 4, superficial support. There's a kind of support that looks perfect on the outside, but feels hollow on the inside. You've probably felt it. They say, "I'm here for you," but they're not. They say, "I'm happy for you," but their eyes stay flat. They offer help, but somehow, it never actually arrives. This is support that functions like a costume. worn to maintain the appearance of care while the substance of it is missing. And it hurts more than direct indifference, because it makes you question your own expectations. People with unresolved resentment will often show up with fake smiles during your high moments, and vanish completely when you're struggling. Because deep down, your pain doesn't matter to them, and your success only reminds them of what they haven't done. Jung referred to this as ego dissociation, an emotional disconnection so strong that even moments of human connection feel mechanical. Watch carefully. Are they there when it's hard and when it's good? Do they celebrate or just observe? Because real support feels like presence, fake support feels like performance. If this is opening your eyes, it means you're ready for more. Subscribe now so you don't miss what comes next. Sign number 5, control disguised as concern. Some people won't attack your choices directly. Instead, they'll dress their judgment as advice. They'll tell you they're just looking out for you, that they know what's best, that you should really consider doing things their way. And little by little, you stop trusting yourself, because they always seem so confident in what you should be doing. But concern isn't control, and support isn't dominance. When someone constantly questions your decisions, your goals, or your independence, they're not helping, they're reshaping you. Not for your benefit, but to satisfy their own discomfort with your autonomy. Jung wrote that those who cannot face their inner chaos seek to control the world around them. So instead of working on their own uncertainty, they try to manage yours. It's not about love, it's about fear. And fear wearing a caring face is one of the most deceptive masks of all. Ask yourself this, after talking to them, do you feel empowered or confused? Do their words give you strength or make you second-guess everything? Because love never demands control, but insecurity does. Sign number 6, gossip and quiet undermining. They don't confront you directly. They don't voice their doubts to your face. Instead, they plant seeds in conversations you're not part of, with people you trust, in places where you're not present to defend yourself. They might twist something you said, exaggerate a failure, drop a subtle concern about you just vague enough to spread but not be traced. And suddenly, people start treating you differently, a little colder, a little more distant. You don't know why until much later. Jung believed that projecting one's shadow onto others often manifests as slander. When someone is drowning in self-doubt, it's easier to stain someone else's reputation than clean your own mirror. This is one of the most insidious forms of hostility, because it makes you look like the problem, while the person pulling strings remains invisible. Look closer. Have you felt shifts in your social circle you can't explain? Changes in tone, in trust, in connection? Sometimes the most damaging attacks come with no sound, only the echo they leave behind. Sign number 7, a lack of joy in your success. When you win, who truly smiles for you? This one hurts, because it often comes from people you wanted to impress, people whose opinion mattered, people you thought were in your corner. But when you achieve something meaningful, whether it's a personal breakthrough, a career step, or a small victory, you look over and their face is blank, or worse, mildly irritated. They say, "That's great," but it lands like a whisper. Then they change the subject. Or worse, they suggest it's not such a big deal after all. Envy doesn't always hiss, sometimes it just shrugs. Jung explained that our inability to celebrate others is a mirror of our inner conflict. When someone feels like life has passed them by, or when they've settled for less than they wanted, your growth doesn't feel inspiring. It feels threatening. Pay attention. Do they lean in when you struggle but pull back when you shine? That isn't care. That's quiet resentment wrapped in politeness. Because the people who truly love you will cheer the loudest when you rise, even if they're not rising with you. Sign number 8, the body tells the truth. Words lie, bodies don't. Someone may say all the right things. They may smile, nod, praise, and congratulate. But their hands tense, their shoulders stiffen, their eyes flick away. Their voice changes ever so slightly. Their presence becomes thinner, colder. The unconscious leaks through gestures, postures, silences. It always does. Jung believed that even when the conscious mind wears a mask, The unconscious mind shows itself. It shows in tone, in breath, in the tiniest shift of expression. And if you're attuned, if you're listening not just with your ears, but with your instincts, you will sense the truth, even when it's silent. Ask yourself, who leaves you feeling uneasy, even if nothing wrong is said? Who makes your gut whisper, something's off, even when everything looks fine? You don't need proof. Your nervous system already has it. The truth is, we all carry shadows. And sometimes, we are the one smiling with clenched hands. We are the one who avoids the light of others because we haven't lit our own. This video isn't about judging the people around you. It's about recognizing patterns, so you can protect your peace, sharpen your perception, and maybe even look inward with more honesty. Because as Jung said, knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. If this made you reflect, if it stirred something in you, don't ignore it. Subscribe to the channel and join us as we explore more hidden truths, emotional clarity, and the deeper layers of human behavior. Because understanding yourself is the most powerful form of protection.